Welcome to Vet Review. In this video, I'm going to give a quick review of feed additives and the classification of feed additives with some important examples. So first, let us see what is the definition of feed additives. So they are non-nutritional substances that are added to the animal feed in minute quantity for the purpose of improving the performance of the animal in the form of rate of gain, feed efficiency, and prevention of diseases. So first look at the name. Feed additive. It is something which is added into the feed. So it means that it is not feed, right? It is something which is added to the feed. So it is non-nutritional. Second thing, it is added in minute quantity because whatever we are giving to the animals, mostly they are going to be commercial animals. So we have to think economically. So it is given in minute quantity for the purpose of improving the performance of the animal. Why we are adding something to the feed? To improve the performance of the animal. And how can we determine the performance of the animal? By looking at the rate of gain. So how much body weight the animal is gaining each day, how much milk it is producing, if the milk yield is increasing or not. Feed efficiency. So less amount of the feed will give higher results and prevention of diseases. So if the feed is preventing some diseases, then again it is beneficial. Why? Because the animals which are healthy, they will perform better. Okay, plus it will also help economically because you will have less veterinary expenditure. What are the characteristic of anti-nutritional factor what are the characteristic of feed additives? We have non-nutritive, required in minute quantity. They are rapidly metabolized and excreted from the body. Okay, they are not directly essential and they don't accumulate in the body or product. So basically what you have to remember is that they are feed additives, so they're added to the diet. They are not essential. Okay, they are non-nutritional because otherwise they can be called as feed supplements. Okay, in some texts feed additive are classified further into nutritional and non-nutritional, and in some texts the non-nutritional type is called feed additive while the nutritional type is called feed supplement. Okay, then they are rapidly metabolized and they don't accumulate in the body or the product of the animal. Why? Because see, if you are giving some chemical to the animal, if you are giving some drug or some other substance to the animal, we don't want to consume it, right? If it is getting excreted into the milk or meat or the egg, the humans are consuming and then it is going into the humans. Okay, so we cannot use such feed additives. Then what are the types of feed additives? So first we have the additives which influence the feed stability, manufacturing, and feed properties. So basically the substances which affect the feed itself. Okay, the various properties of the feed. So first we have antifungals. They are the agents which kill fungal infection. Why? Because if fungus is present on the feed, it will get spoiled, right? And it can also lead to certain diseases in the animals. So we have propionic acid for dry grain, sodium metabisulfate, and SO2 for moist grain. Sodium diacetate, sorbic acid, and gentian violet. Out of these, propionic acid and sodium metabisulfate and SO2 are important. Then antioxidant. They are natural and synthetic. In natural, we have vitamin E, vitamin C, and vitamin A. And in synthetic, we have BHT, BHA, and ethoxyquin, also called as xanthoquin. Okay, the examples of antioxidant, both natural and synthetic, very important for the exam. Then palate binders, they basically help to maintain the structure of the palate. Okay, an important example is bentonite. Then the factors which modify the growth, feed efficiency, and metabolism and performance of the animal. So first we had the additives which affect the feed. Now we have the additives which affect the digestion and metabolism. So first we have flavors. They basically increase the palatability. Other than flavors, we have digestion modifiers. They affect digestion. Okay, how? So first we have grit. Grit are the substances which are present in the stomach. Okay, for the grinding of the food. Okay, and the most important example is oyster shell. So oyster shell grit is used in layer feeding. Why? Because first, oyster shell is going to act as a grit. It is going to help in grinding of food. Second thing, it is a source of calcium and it releases calcium very slowly. Okay, so it is helpful for maintaining a adequate level of calcium in layer birds. Other than oyster shell, we have coquina shells and limestone, which can be used as grit. Then we have buffers and neutralizers. So in high yielded animals, their diet consists mainly of concentrate, right? So when the amount of concentrate in the diet increases, it may lead to ruminal acidosis, right? And rumen acidosis is a problem. So to combat that, we can add neutralizers and buffers. And the examples are salt of VFA, volatile fatty acid, bicarbonate ion, ammonium chloride, ammonium sulfate, and phosphate salts. Then we have chelating agents. Okay, they are polyvalent cations that are held by metal binding agents like EDTA, chlorophyll, vitamin B12, and cytochrome. Then enzymes like endocellulase, exocellulase, and beta glucanase, and ion exchanging compounds like zeolite and clinoptilolite. Okay, so in these only the examples are important. Then we have ionophore. Now this one is very important. Why? Because it can be asked separately as an SAQ. So these are the antibiotics produced by streptomyces. They bind to the cations of sodium, potassium, and calcium and modulate their movement across the cell membrane. Okay, so they are very important. Ionophores. The examples include monensin, lesolacid, selinomycin, narasin, lesocalin, and rumensin. Okay, for lesolacid, you have to remember it is produced by Streptomyces lesolensis, and monensin is produced by Streptomyces cinnamonensis. Okay, and it will increase the propionate production and decrease the acetate production. And what will be the result of this? It will decrease the methane production. Okay, so ionophores are very much important. They are often used in animal feed. Okay, and they're different from antibiotic growth promoter. Okay, there are some issues related to the use of antibiotic in animal feed, but they can be used. Okay, you have to remember for the exams. Then the second thing is probiotic. Okay, so probiotics is also important, just like ionophore. Why? Because they are asked as SAQ. Okay, SAQ can come on probiotic or prebiotic, or even between. They can ask differentiate between prebiotic and probiotic. So what is the meaning of prebiotic and probiotic? So probiotic. So pro life, right? What life? Intestinal microbial life. So we will include Lactobacillus acidophilus, Lactobacillus bifidus, Lactobacillus vulgaris, Lactobacillus fermentum, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and Aspergillus oryzae. The examples are very much important. Then we have prebiotics. Prebiotics act as food for the good bacteria. So probiotics are the bacteria themselves, right, which are good for the gut health. And prebiotic, they are the food for the good bacteria of the gut. Okay, and the examples are MOS, FOS, and DFM, mannan oligosaccharide, fructo-oligosaccharide, and direct fat microbial. Then we have acidifier that act as preservative and improve the performance of the animal. They are present in two forms, liquid form and powder form. In liquid, we have formic acid and propionic acid. In powder form, we have fumaric acid and citric acid. Don't get confused between fumaric and formic acid. Formic is liquid, fumaric is powder. Then we have dephonating agents which kill the ruminal protozoa, thus resulting in decreased methane production. Dephonation is a very important phenomenon and often an SAQ is asked in the exams. Then we have metabolism modifier. Okay, so first we had compounds which affect the feed itself, then compounds which affect the digestion and metabolism. Now we have metabolism modifiers like hormones, beta adrenergic agents, growth promoters, and other animal health products like drugs and immunomodulators. So immunomodulator modify the animal health. Growth promoters are antibiotic growth promoters which are included or which are added in the feed in sub-therapeutic doses. Okay, so below the therapeutic doses, certain broad spectrum antibiotics are used. So basically they will kill off some small amount of infection in the animal and it will promote growth. Okay, so they are used as antibiotic growth promoters, but in many developed countries, the use of AGF, antibiotic growth promoter, in animals is banned. Why? Because antimicrobial resistance is a very, very important topic that is going right now. So basically, what happens when we are giving growth promoters like antibiotic growth promoter to the animal? The antibiotics are getting accumulated in the animal, okay, and they are excreted in the animal product like milk and meat and egg. Okay, and if I'm consuming milk, then I'm getting the antibiotic, and these antibiotics are going to act on the bacteria. The surviving bacteria will form resistance against it. Even in animals, the surviving bacteria may form resistance, and thus the antimicrobial resistance will increase. So it is a very much big problem. So in developed countries, the use of antibiotic growth promoters is completely banned. In India, in certain places, because the sector, animal husbandry sector in India, is very much unorganized, the use of AGF is still prevalent, okay, but in many developed countries it is banned. And at last, there are some examples in the first category, the additives which influence feed stability, which I had left. You only need to know the names and examples of some of them. Okay, so we have anti-caking agent, humectants, forming and crisping agents, and sequestrants. Okay, so this is it for the feed additives. I hope you like this video. If so, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.